How can you dramatically increase your chances of business success? That's going to be the topic of today's video. So if you're an expat or a high net worth individual, go over to infuriated.com to see my content. Now, today I'm going to talk about a very simple topic. A lot of people know that it's hard to start your own business, but how can you dramatically increase your chances of business success? Now, the first thing I would say is get a job and get good at it. A lot of people think they need to create the next Amazon or the next Facebook or Google or whatever, but often you don't need to do that. You don't need a lot of money from outside sources as well. What you need to do in most cases, yes, sometimes you can find a great idea and you don't have experience in the domain, but usually you just need to get a job, get good at it, get experience. So for example, if you're a recruiter or a cleaner or work in the bank or whatever, if you can get good at a job, meet the clients, meet people that can enhance your skills, and then you'll also be able to see what problems are in the industry. So for example, one of the reasons I started my own business is I realized that too few firms were going online quickly enough back in the days when I started my own business. That's one example of many, but the point is, if you can start your own business knowing that you have some customers waiting for you, which can be the case in some industries, although sometimes it goes against a non-disclosure agreement, or even if you don't have customers waiting for you, but you know how to get customers, you know how to speak to customers, you know how to solve problems, that puts you in great stead. Simple example, let's say if you've been a recruiter for 10 years and you talk to your boss and you say, I'm thinking about starting my own business. He or she persuades you to stay, but 1 or 2 years later you start your own business. You have a gentleman's agreement that if you do start your own business, you can take some of the clients that you've acquired for the company. Doing it that way, you might actually have positive cash flow even for month one, especially if you create an online business, which actually leads me to the second point, which is keep your costs low for as long as possible. Try to be online, try to work from home, keep the cost low and obviously the revenue high or as high as possible. Now, thirdly, work hard. Fourthly, work smart. Fifthly, or number 5 should I say, take plenty of calculated risks. Now, those 3 are very relevant for a simple reason. How many people do you know who can work hard? Probably many people, right? Especially a lot of people can work hard for a few months or a year or 2. Even for 5 or 10 years, plenty of people can work hard. But how many people do you know that can work hard and smart? I'm sure plenty, but less than those who can work hard, because working smart sometimes means doing things that take you out of your comfort zone. Now, how many people do you know who can work hard, smart, and hard? Actually, probably even fewer people because, and calculated risks in addition to those things, even fewer people because most people are very risk adverse. Even if they work hard and smart, that doesn't mean they always want to take calculated risks. In addition to that, if you can have a positive attitude about yourself and about the system you're in, that can also yield returns. Now, what do I mean by that more specifically? Having a positive attitude about yourself obviously is a good thing. Be confident, but don't be complacent or arrogant. But when it comes to the system itself, what's very interesting is when I go back to my university days and I look at what people are doing now, those people who are, say, for example, very anti-capitalist or whatever, often they went into things like the civil service or they're teachers or whatever, they're working for the state. People who had a positive attitude to, say, capitalism or making money or whatever, were more likely to make money for a simple reason, right? I mean, if you're negative about the system, if you think something is just for the rich, you're not going to do that thing in the first place. For example, in my case, right, if I went into business thinking, oh, I can't make money because I'm not from a really rich family and I'm not able to speak Chinese, but I'm living in China now, or not able to speak it fluently and perfectly, should I say. I did speak Chinese, but not up to like a fluent level. If I had all these kind of negative thoughts going into my head, then I wouldn't have done it to begin with. So if you have a positive attitude to your own skills and also the system itself, you're more likely to succeed. I went into it thinking, you know what, I'm living overseas, I'm not in the UK now, I'm going to have to operate in English because even though my Chinese at the time was pretty reasonable in a daily situation, I couldn't speak in a business situation to a fluent extent, but I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to keep to my skills, my strength, and I think I can make money in this system if I work hard enough, long enough, smart enough, and so on. So if you go with a positive attitude and you have a positive attitude towards the system itself, and in addition to that, you're willing to work hard, smart, and take loads of calculated risks, and in addition to that, do it long term to medium term, you will actually automatically be better than 90 to 95% of people. Because most people, if they work really hard and then it doesn't pay off quickly, they'll give up. Or if they work hard, smart, and take risks, but it doesn't work after 1 or 2 years, they'll give up. Or if they're willing to work hard and smart, but they don't necessarily have a good attitude to money making, they're less likely to make money. Whereas if you're willing to do all of the above, in other words, A, you have experience in a domain, B, you have a positive attitude to yourself, C, you have a positive attitude to the system, like making money and so on, and all the other things I mentioned, like working hard, working smart, taking calculated risks, that can make a huge impact on your chances of success. Because what I found is most people will just focus on one area. They'll think, right, I'm going to outwork everyone. I'm young, I'm 20 years old, for example. I'm not, I'm just giving the example, right? And I'm just going to outwork everyone. Or, you know what, I come from a rich family. I'm just going to outspend everyone. Not many people think like that, but a few people think like that. Or other people might think, oh, I'm just going to take loads of risks. Again, not many people, because most people don't want to take that many risks. But you get the point I'm saying. You have to sometimes, in a competitive world, actually do all of these things to give yourself the best chance of success. Because ultimately, if you do what other people are not willing to do, you're more likely to be successful. And what I have found is that the number of people willing to work hard is far higher than the number of people who are willing to, for example, take calculated risks. I know fewer people who are willing to take calculated risks compared to those who are willing to work hard. Same with working smart. I'll give you a perfect example of this. I talk to some business owners in the UK and beyond, and I often tell them if they offshore themselves in their company, they'll save a fortune in tax and cost of living, and in addition to that, they will be able to reinvest that back into the business. In other words, if you have two businesses, let's say business one's making £100,000 a year in profit, business two is making £100,000 a year in profit, so the same, right? But business two offshores themselves and their company. So now, the profits, if you like, or let's say the revenue are the same, but because of the tax situation, suddenly the profits are higher. And then you've got this amount that you can reinvest back in the business, so you might suddenly go to here. But most people wouldn't want to do that, right? Because it's more comfortable to stay in your own country. It's more comfortable to think, oh, better be safe than sorry because it's already working. I've already got a successful business. Why do I need to offshore to save tax or whatever? I know I could reinvest this back into the business, but I don't want to do that. So what I found from the years in business is actually being willing to take risks is something that sets you apart a little bit. But sensible risks, because some people are at the opposite end of the spectrum, they take silly risks. So taking calculated risks is one of the easiest ways of business success if you're going to do it persistently and you have experience in the domain. How can I help you? In two ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net wealth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on adamfayed.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.